Just a little bit.
Facebook Live.
But you start it.
What the little microphone?
All right.
Check 1 2. Oh, det er det sidste. Vil du gøre det, eller?
Gary, you drank one kilo?
Are we?
No.
No? Well, what the hell? What did they?
Papa smak kept off?
Do we?
Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, boys, we are ready to rock and roll. Welcome everyone to CJRZ's We Speak Mi'kmaq. We're going to do a portion of our show in English just to make sure that we get our English-speaking community to tune in and find out what we were talking about last week. But why will you get school more here now?
No, it's not all this is really quick.
Nej, lad os se, vi skal
We're all about one with this.
All right, Tom.
Så spiller det mu.
Well, all in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's easier. That's what you want.
Ja, det er det. Hvor er det så muligt, så nu har jeg det
So
næste.
you don't need to.
Ja, så næste mu.
Do easy.
Du er sådan. Så nu har jeg den mu.
That's what we do. I just do the work.
Nej, ja, det skal jeg.
I know, huh? Yeah. Make sure I know what I do see.
Nu er det jo.
Which come in down there, buzzing sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hvad
each
sker der
car.
ved du, hva'?
Huh?
Hvad sker der ved du?
Well, my
Nu
guys.
du må det, nå.
No, I know, man. No more kilo. What's on the air, huh?
Or stay ready to do it.
Yeah. Especially the banana microphone. But then, me do it, you don't
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, school them up. Go ahead, do it, yeah.
Well, we started we just know it last week. And that week well along this to move on.
Right. Yeah.
So that week why you just know.
Han
So
var
there's no time to explain the one
Uh-huh.
last week.
Walking, huh?
Yeah, no, next week no it to go. No it to the
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jeg tror, at der
Du stod op der og nok du siger der
Well,
ja. Call back, call in. Ja.
du bliver ikke til sådan noget, ja.
Der var
Så der er jo noget, der var.
Ja.
Du siger nu, der tager jeg.
Parce sådan jo kan du var skal du have det jo du ja. Vi der vi nu der vi lader rene cola.
Oh, yeah.
Ja. Så vil vi no service.
Der var det.
Ja.
Og giv sugna?
Anyway, I started with this.
Ah, det bra, Jimuna.
Det var
Det var det, skulle jeg.
Happy birthday, darling.
We did this age,
Yeah.
toxic book. We did them a few times. Radio to
Nej, der står jo det virker sig, ja.
Tarik to go.
Okay.
And there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start. We were saying in Mi'kmaq, we had a discussion last week about Aboriginal title to our whole district, and we talked about it, in depth, the importance of filing an Aboriginal title claim because it's more urgent now. We had the New Brunswick chiefs. I don't know how many there were, 8 or 9, that filed their own Aboriginal title. Basically, there's concern about them filing that Aboriginal title, the New Brunswick side, because it looks like they're claiming the New Brunswick side, but then the Gespegawagi side, we're being left out of it. And it's always been known.
Right? Yeah.
We're part of the whole. As a matter of fact, Lister was always 15, 16, 1700 was known as the capital of the whole district. Because some of the smaller communities were only settlements, fishing. People would leave here and go to Gespegawagi or Newville or whatever. And some of them stayed there permanently, and then like Gespegawagi. Well, Gespeg is questionable because they never had a land base in.
How many still? What community? They still don't have it.
They don't have it. They still don't have that.
Well,
land base.
what do we right? Yeah.
So the problem lies with this land claim that was filed with the New Brunswick chiefs. They should have consulted not only the Listerwood's leadership, but they should have consulted us, the people of Listerwood, because each one of us have that collective right. It's a collective right, collective ownership. And I think we have talked about, this has been talked about since Jack Wiseau, about filing an Aboriginal title claim. As a matter of fact, when he was chief, and we talked about that last week, he had hired researchers and lawyers in 1960 to compile a legal opinion and a historical opinion that we still owned all of Gespegawagi, which means New Brunswick and Quebec, because we have to remember, before Canada was born, this wasn't Quebec or that wasn't New Brunswick. It was Gespegawagi, right down to Sydney, Nova Scotia. Each district was part of the whole nation. It wasn't known as Nova Scotia or PEI or Newfoundland, you know, in Quebec. It was the whole nation. So the danger of filing this claim in New Brunswick without consulting our leadership and people is, it seems to divide, validate that New Brunswick has always been New Brunswick, you know, and Quebec has always been Quebec. That's not the case.
No.
You know? Aboriginal, yeah, we're all one nation, divided into 7 independent districts. We're independent. Some people say, well, the Grand Council is the governing body, but the Grand Council and the Grand Chief over there, Grand Chief was like a chairman. The districts had their own district chiefs. As you'll see, the documents I provided to you, when you read them later on, it's just going to show you each district had a district chief and had their sub-chiefs. And they were the governing body of the district.
Oh.
Yeah, the other districts can't dictate to what happens to the listers, you know. It's only when they get together. They used to get together every year to talk about, they call it Mawiomi.
Wait, no,
No, it's not. The only thing that was brought back in 1992 was the powwow. It was
Okay.
a Wabanaki powwow that time.
Yeah.
And the reason we brought that back then was to bring all of the other chiefs, the Passamaquoddy and
Yeah.
Penobscot that time, and the Mohawks were even part of the Wabanaki, Malisit, to meet to discuss about what was going on in Canada in terms of what they were trying to do, you know, wipe out our treaties back in 1969 and everything. So anyway, that's what used to happen, but somewhere along the line it changed. The meeting with the chiefs didn't, how would you say it? It was excluded. You know, it was more like a powwow, and there's nothing wrong with powwows. You know? It's part of our tradition. Like they had the gatherings. When they had the gatherings, those Mawiomis here in Listerwoods, I've seen historical research by different historians going back to 1800, saying, yeah, when they met, you know, they would talk, they would eat, and then they would they had their own dances like Gojawa and you know.
Yeah.
So that's part of our history, but we have to understand that the other part of it was that we were still a sovereign Mi'kmaq nation, you know, and that's why when they met, they talked about is there a concern with other nations coming in here and taking our territory, which happened here in Listerwoods back in 1600 when the Wendish, what they call the Mohawks. We were once, you know, a warring nation between us because we were trying to protect the territory.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the battles took place here on the other side, Jigo. You know, there's a written history of that. But that's why we met, you know, talk about peace and whatever, trade, and because, you know, when back then they were saying, oh, well, they were just wild savages. They didn't know. They didn't have a governing system. We had a governing system. You know, archaeologists are finding things that came from different parts, not only in Canada but the United States. So there was a trade routes. St. Lawrence was one of the river routes where Mi'kmaq from here went to Quebec City, and different tribes were there. It's almost like they met and they traded goods. But getting back to you know, the importance of filing that Aboriginal title claim here is we have to set the record straight.
What way much to do again?
As of now, that's why I shared the 2 videos.
Okay.
One was
Yeah.
2020.
And excuse me,
Yeah,
but
that's
anyway, will I meet nice?
Yeah.
Will I meet nice job on? And pretty much die. What's good about now? What's good about nigga?
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Okay.
And the current chief now, when he became, well, before he became chief, he already made. We already met with him and his councillors that were running. we discussed what we said on the video, and it's on video, you know. They were willing to, oh yeah, we're going to work together, we're going to file this Aboriginal title claim back then. And we talked about when you listen to the two videos, you can almost see what was happening back then, because it explains, you know, in live what we were talking about between the chief now and our tribal council. And then when we invited the lawyer, the constitutional lawyer, he confirmed that yes, it's important. It's very important that the LMG and the tribal council and the people
Right.
get together and,
Yeah.
and file that. So this way, the government can't say, well, this one says you're not, you don't have any legitimacy, or that one says no. And I think it was clear back then. The first meeting we had with the chief, he said he supported the tribal council, and he understood the limits of the boundaries of Indian Act bank councils, only within the boundaries, and that the traditional district governing system had jurisdiction past that, the whole district. See, so that was good in that sense. But now we're talking about New Brunswick shortly after that meeting that we had filed their own without us.
Oh, yeah.
And if we would have filed ours, the 7th district being the capital, they would have been included. We would have never
Right.
left them out.
Yeah, yeah.
It would have been filed on behalf of all the other communities, Biganchik, Cabino, Minabinayak, Eskimo, what do you call it, Brown. No, Sibuk is a 6th district. There's a boundary line along the Miramichi.
church.
Like it starts, after the Miramichi is not too far, then it's Elsibukso 6th district. That's another separate. But we would have included them in our Gespegawagi territory.
That one was the most, when Gizmo Chada was that?
There's the chief that I mentioned these communities,
Yeah.
and there's a corporation called NTI.
But you know the way that I'm listening.
Well, if you listen to Chief Scott Martin's interview with Radio Canada, they didn't know. They were never asked about this or consulted about that.
Okay.
That's why he was saying. And then they tried with their lawyer they went to court in New Brunswick to get what do you call intervener status. The intervener means if you can go in and present your evidence.
Right.
But the courts, I'm not sure whether it was the courts or the province said no, you can't. You have to work it out.
You can't talk about anyone when you talk shit?
They
But
said,
you can't?
well, the courts, probably it was the Attorney General. Attorney General always represents either the province or Canada. But to me, if they're saying we can't, they must be scared that we have the evidence, because there's, like I said, the documents that you're going to see there. It validates from 1786, but it's even before that. But the recorded documents I gave you, you'll see the names of the district chief back then. 1786 was Joseph Claude. He lived right where the boom is before.
Oh, yeah.
On that side.
Ula boom in the car?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where his father owned that land, and he owned the
Only West Golden Manila?
Ulabomi Tua.
Oh, la boom is too.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So it not only shows him, he had the documents that I gave you show that he met with the lieutenant governor from Quebec City. The British had won the war here in 1760. They beat they beat the French. They beat the French right here in the river.
Oh, yeah.
The sunken boats that.
Now, what's going to be a little bit more than that? Yeah. That's
There's,
right, yeah.
There's 3 other more in there.
I mean, that's right, man. They go
There they go. So when the British won the war, they basically took over all of Quebec and Gaspé. You know, they said, well, it's ours now, but that's not really true, because the documents that you're going to see prove that we never gave our title. We never gave it, and we never sold it, or it never was conquered. So Canada and Quebec know that. That's why I think it was back in 1993, they started funding these secretariats like MMS and APC and Union of Nova Scotia Indians and so forth, and said, yeah, we'll pay you to negotiate, about the land claims.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what happened was, then there became this whole comprehensive land claim process, right? But even the United Nations was asked about this whole process, and they said that Canada is using money to try to buy our title, and once it buys it, and once it buys it,
That's
then
it.
it has that title,
Yeah.
and when the money runs out, that's it. What happens to, like we were saying, what happens to our children and
Yeah.
children after that?
No, exactly.
So this United Nations report, they came here in Canada. They go all over Canada, Indian reservation reserves, and then they asked them how are you being treated by Canada or the provinces? And one of the things they were saying is they're trying to buy our titles with the money that they're paying in the form of a comprehensive land claim. When that's settled, and they say, well, it's got to be brought to the people. They're going to decide. But yeah, and we mentioned it before. You bring it to the people for hundreds of years. There's we have a lot of poor people that don't have any. How would you say the means to survive, basically. But if Canada says and the province says, for example, okay, we're going to give you, let's say, 100 billion. That's a lot of money, right? Right up the top of your mind, 100 billion.
Sounds like a lot of money.
Sounds like
Yeah,
that.
do it.
But they don't tell you
Yeah.
the natural resources, especially on
Yeah.
this side.
Yeah.
They're even more than the trillions. And when they get a hold of that, that's it. So what we have to do, our position was, 2019, we developed what we call a 7th District Gespegawagi Declaration of Sovereignty. And basically that document is a 9-page document where it says everything that what Canada's trying to do
Yeah.
to negotiate with their Indian Act 1876 created band councils is illegal because they're one federal entity.
Yeah.
Because they created the Indian Act system in 1876, and basically it's just an arm of Canada. It's negotiating with itself for our
Yeah.
lands and resources.
Yeah.
See, and you can't do that because if I was negotiating with you, Floyd, I have to, and you have to. When we're sitting down on negotiating for an agreement, you have to tell me everything that I should know
Yeah.
about this agreement. Is it okay?
Exactly.
It's not illegal, and I have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I have to tell you everything. Otherwise, if we find out that I was hiding something, well, that agreement is not.
Invalid.
Yeah, exactly. It's invalid. But the case here, they're sitting at the table as one body, but who represents the people? You know, we should be the ones sitting at the table telling Canada,
Yeah.
number one, we don't sell you an inch under your comprehensive land claim process. We don't sell you an inch of our district territory. And in our document that we sent to 3 prime ministers, because we had to send that document. I remember you had signed it. Because the court, the lawyer said that I knew if you don't object to what's happening in their land claims process, in writing,
Then there be.
and when the time comes that they vote on it, and if it's accepted, well, you can't fight it because the judges are going to ask you, did you say anything about this process to them? Did you tell them that this process was illegitimate? Because yes, they're negotiating, but they're negotiating sometimes where the people don't even know what's being negotiated. We don't know what's being negotiated. I've never seen, every meeting and everything that they agreed to.
Yeah.
They have these, big dinners and whatever you know, and say to the people minimum of what's going on, but they don't tell you when such an agreement is being made. It's so critical because if we end up losing title to those resources, well then,
What's good if we agree to it, huh?
if we
Well,
agree to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
if we agree to it,
Yeah,
then,
you're shooting yourself in the foot.
well, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Our position should be, and if we should be included, not only as the tribal, the district, tribal council,
The whole community.
the whole community at in a public meeting has to be there, and everybody has to voice their concern, like what we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Because if it goes through, well then, our children, that's it,
Yeah.
They'll be out.
it's going to be tough, and it's not only that.
Back in the last one, it doesn't
You know,
know.
lots of
Yeah.
doesn't know.
Mm.
They're gonna, our grandchildren or their children are gonna ask us one of these days, why didn't you say anything?
Yeah.
Why did you just sit back and let it happen? See?
Yeah.
Because when we look at our ancestors, they guaranteed for us right up to, we're the seventh generation, right? That's what they call it. This generation, us, the older.
Yeah.
They said, we're not, and what I just said, they said, we're not selling you anything on the treaties. We're not giving away anything. That's why
Giving
we-
us anything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we still own
Yeah.
titles to every district from here to Sydney, to Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland. And Canada knows that. The only way it can get it is to buy it.
Yeah.
Buy them
Det
out.
var det last week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Money,
Ja,
money.
det var det lov, but after, but zero, you got no
That's
say.
it. That's it.
Was one of the kids that pulled the rug under you, you know.
Once
That's
this
it.
money is all gone, it's
Yeah.
all gone, and we're nothing.
Yeah.
And it happened
The
in
land will
Mom, we
always
go
be there.
dinner forever.
ever.
Yeah.
For our
What
children.
you're saying, is exactly what we said.
Yeah.
The land will never, unless the world comes to an
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
But if we can do the same thing our ancestors did for us, when they signed, before they signed the treaties, and they made it clear to the king, you don't own this. We're the owners. We're still the title owners, the chiefs. that
Okay,
signed
do
it.
this, that's why we don't swat us.
Exactly.
Pretty much gonna
Anyway.
swat us, kick.
Yeah.
What buy out these chiefs?
That's basically
Easy way out.
Yeah, and that's not right. But we have to also remember there's other things that are being negotiated. Land management and act that they passed, and I think we signed on to it here in Listowitz. They call it the First Nations Land Management Act. Indian Affairs gives you all the money, and they will no longer be responsible. Let's say there's a flood.
Yeah, okay.
There's a flood, right?
Baba
No,
Omundo.
not like the last time.
Okay, yeah.
Because they're going to say, you sign, we gave
Yeah.
you the money,
Yeah.
and then the other part of it is they want to give us all the self-government, and they give us all the money.
I case Leon, I guess Kay do this, da,
yeah.
Kay do this, which go, I
Exactly.
guess can tell we got to get no, we got to tell da, yeah.
Sila bang kamo ka
Yeah.
That's basically
Si mo
what
ginawa, hindi not to say, Baba Omundo.
the- yeah,
Pro quote yun yun, medyo laulo.
Yeah.
yeah. And then when they give the self-government money, along with that, Russell Divo, I don't know if you ever came across his comments, they're the same as ours, the tribal council. If they give us that, they're going to, they also want to wipe out Indian Affairs, the Department of Indian Affairs. What's going to happen to the people that, that can't, or are dependent on Indian Affairs? They have been, like
Yeah.
health, medical and all that.
Exactly.
Well, when they give us that money,
Taxpayers.
again, we're going to
Yeah.
be the ones that have to, and Indian Affairs are going to wash their hands and say, there,
Yeah.
no more Indian problem.
But man, no zama na kudu ga we he said you don't know.
Well, that's the problem, Wade. When Harper was in, he
What is-
passed Bill C-45 legislation. They called it an ominous bill. That's what there was a bunch of bills, like bills that usually go through individually. Senate decides, they approve it, and he put everything
all
in there.
together, yeah.
And in there, he slid in that the vote in a community no longer requires 50% or 52% plus.
No.
He brought it down to 25 and maybe even less, so that any, let's say the band council, any band council wanted to use reserve land, let's use reserve land for example, as collateral in a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they can do it, but they still have to have a vote, but the vote has been lowered by Harper by
Yeah.
25 to make it easier for it to pass.
Okay.
Easy to lose it too.
And we can see that
Yeah.
we can see that happen back 2018 when Genebus was passed.
Oh yeah.
There was no 50% required. There was only about 200 people that voted.
180 some.
180 voted
Yeah.
that time against 3,000 people. So
Oh yeah.
see how they
Oh yeah.
manipulated the voting.
Yeah.
So that's the danger right there. But the only saving thing that lawyers had told me, the constitutional lawyers, develop your Declaration of Independence in there, put everything in there. You don't agree with that process, and if they signed out that process, for instance here, for example here, we can say it was an illegal process because it was being negotiated only by Canada as one party with their 1876 created Indian Act systems. So if you put everything down, and we put the treaties in there saying that we never gave up any land, that's evidence. All the treaties we signed, they weren't about land being given up. And said when you do that, then you can not only probably take it to the courts in Canada, but you can go to the international court and use that as evidence that what happened was we were never fully consulted about this whole process, because
Exactly.
even the agreement itself, the comprehensive land claim agreement, there's clauses in there that say, well, there's certain things you can't release to the public. No, that's not how it's supposed to be when they're dealing with our land. It can't be that way. You have to.
Well, what am we looking was I'm going to let me do it.
Yeah.
In that was good.
Yeah, and I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
But what I was saying, it's the people's collective right. Everybody's right. It's not 12,
Not just a handful.
not just 12 people or a handful
No.
who got elected. So that's why it was important to have that lawyer, constitutional lawyer, come here, and he had two meetings. We had two. One public meeting was held at the community center, and the other one was held with us, with the tribal council at that time. And what he basically said is we need to come together. I don't know if it's possible now because of what's happened. I don't know if the chief and council now are willing to, how would I say, admit that they should have, which they already have admitted. They admitted that they were going to do it in that video with Chief Martin. But what they need to do is, if they want to act, and we should be filing our own Aboriginal title here on this ASAP on this side, to make it clear that Listowoods and his people are still the title holders of our Gespegawagi territory and natural resources. You know, we have a duty as the seventh generation, because what our ancestors did for us, you know, that's how they ensured our continued survival. We have to do the same for the next 7 generations.
Exactly.
You know, Chief Jack Wiseau, we talked about him in our last show.
Yeah, and now we all see what do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you listen to his song, history song, it's right on to the point what we're talking about now.
Yeah,
He said the young generation will be the ones that bring back everything that was taken from us, and it's happening. It's happening. I'm not saying that it's not, but if we don't talk about it like we're talking about it here,
Exactly.
it's got to start somewhere. We have to relight that fire.
Yeah, we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah,
Right.
and I was glad when Floyd asked me to, if he wanted me to, join you guys.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, right away. I said, yeah, I should, because this, and we said this may be a small radio station, but I'm telling you, what comes out of here. Exactly.
Reach everybody just the same.
And we're not doing this in spite.
No, we're really doing it for the
The
future.
last thing we need is to fight amongst each other. But if there's no change, from here to November, well, then the people have to take that vote and
Yeah.
make change happen.
Yeah.
Because we can't keep going another
Yeah.
2 years and another 2 years. No,
Alle må det skikke nok time this year.
we're seeking of
No.
this. We are.
Not much time.
Yeah, exactly. And if we do that, then we're going to throw a monkey wrench
Yeah.
into the court.
Moest maar meer nood was goed als ik
Oh yeah,
was niet hè.
No, no.
Moet last week hè.
exactly,
You know, just a reminder and
exactly.
refresh your water on.
Wat is het bij die baas zitten waar ze kunnen kort iets doen, dat is de document al raar.
Exactly.
Hoe waar ze kunnen geschuwen.
Exactly. That document, when I was talking about our late Grand Chief Jack Wiseout, all right, back in the '60s, he had the vision already. He knew what to do, but the money wasn't there for him to do
Yeah.
that because it cost money. But now we have money, as we said before in our talk shows. We have money. We got fisheries, commercial fisheries coming in the millions, and why couldn't we separate an amount
Yeah.
for this?
Put aside to
Yeah.
for this,
Because
which
it's
is
so
very
critical.
important.
Yeah, it's so critical. I mean, us, those of us who are in our late 60s or 70s, you know, we don't have much time, like you said, in that term too.
Yeah.
We don't have that much time.
Yeah.
But
Als Panado and Gizmo Shadow, you know, besides skill,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've been talking about it for 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
But, you know, it comes to a point where I begin to question myself and say, well, what's the use? You know?
Yeah.
Nobody's listening. But when you asked me to join
Yeah.
you here, well then I
Yeah.
saw an
Oh,
opportunity.
it's got bananas, car,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
got me, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
a lot more. And,
Yeah, that's good,
and-
though.
Yeah, and we realized last week that we had to do an English version
Yeah.
because most of our smarter, younger ones.
Yeah. Well, that's the
will
meaning, right?
understand-
Yeah.
and once they understand, and once that fire
Yeah.
lights up inside them, nobody will ever put it out.
Yeah,
That's
It's
right.
It's like
Yeah,
us.
hello there.
It's like
That's
us.
their future
Exactly.
and their children.
Exactly, because we're the seventh generation, and it took a while. We're in the 70s and 60s, but now it's not late, like you said. It's
Yeah.
not too late. We're talking about it now, and we're opening it up, but we're also going to be teaching the younger ones what they have to do
Yeah.
too, their
Yeah.
part.
Pass it on.
Exactly, and we're like I said, we're not doing this to be popular. We're not doing
No.
this because of we hate this one or hate that. No, we
Yeah.
have to put that all behind us.
Exactly.
And if we have to start new, the time will be November. If what we're talking about now, if they don't want to cooperate, like I was saying in those two videos, and do what was promised they were going to do, well then we need change. We
I'm a
need-
Martin away after it.
nothing. No,
No.
I was never. After that, the doors were shut. I was never asked to even sit at one council meeting. They said, "Oh yeah, we're going to have the tribal council, you know,
Yeah,
be
yeah,
part
so
of
the
it."
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just didn't happen. You know, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
But it's critical now because the time is coming. Everything's coming almost to an end. The negotiations with Canada, and we don't even know what they've agreed to. So it's time for us as the people of Listowitz, with our collective right and power. We hold the power. Twice a year we have that power.
Yeah.
We got to use it the right way. We've got to think about
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
we're going to vote for this one.
Yeah.
One. No, we have to find out who's
Yeah.
going to be running.
Dan je Borschi school dat ze dus recently Borschi school men Bogota na one days in a Bogota and memo Gedo the guy
Yeah,
was school mo you know
Yeah.
so that's why I was per
Yeah.
best the repeat the word
yeah,
you know
yeah.
just in case we'll try the morning and say just it next time
yeah.
you know
Je maybe dan aan ko blij. Suara ko, pegado ko kino public meeting no shit. Imagine no, we bingo all, we go mo explain how to imagine you just go how would you upset.
Yeah, we could, there's possibilities, but I think what we're doing here is far more effective because
yeah
it's not only radio,
that's steady in it
it's on,
Yeah.
and it's
It's
constantly
yeah.
on
Facebook,
yeah.
video.
yeah
So I say to the people who are listening, and you know, ever since we started, there's more people that are starting to ask questions, even at home. You know,
Yeah.
they say, "What can you explain to me about this and that?"
yeah
They're beginning to realize. But now, you know, we can say to them, just open, you know, Floyd's website, and you can see and hear, like those two videos that we put in there.
Yeah.
If those videos circulate, you know, from now to November, people will understand.
Yeah.
because I'm not only saying that.
Like and share.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm not only saying that in those 2 videos. We have a lawyer. We have a constitutional lawyer who says that what's going on with Canada, how they're doing the land claims, is not right. The people have to take the control and the power, along with the land council and the tribal council. So if we can make that happen, and if we have people that will act on it, well then that's fine.
Yeah.
But if we don't, well we have to do something.
Lukta sulla Marti Western sporti jigiska
Yeah, to stand up to.
Ja, så jag har roligt
yeah,
jag.
yeah,
Så måste jag nog så vidare med någon så var bit vad ska vara så
exactly.
Ja.
Right now, and I know, being former councillors, right now, the chief and the councillors that are there, especially the councillors, if 2 or 3 get up and say, for instance, that we have to file an Aboriginal title claim and put it on the table as a motion
There's a motion, yeah.
and vote on it, how many will vote against it? If the ones that vote against it, that tells you
Yeah,
what
you're
their
not for it.
interests are.
But why would anybody vote against it?
I
It's
know.
the question, it's another question,
But,
you know.
but that's why we wonder why
Yeah.
why didn't they act when they said okay, we're going to
Yeah.
do this, we're going to do that?
Yeah.
They didn't do anything, nothing. They didn't do anything. All
Well,
they have to do
the chief never brought it to the table.
nothing.
No.
And they had the authority. They still have the authority to set aside the commercial fisheries money, okay? Because they use it any way they want without the people actually giving
Ja,
consent,
Deliana.
and that's our money.
Even though
Collective.
with the wind farm, the 3 communities,
That's it.
they can put some money on the side for this. It's all going to benefit the 3
And
communities.
there's about there's probably about 50 million in that
That's right.
in that account. But they're
So-
using this for something else, salaries and all.
Ja.
Well, isn't
Sure.
this important? The
Sure.
children not important?
Yeah, our
You know?
future.
But as I was saying,
Oh,
right
days it?
now, yeah,
Oh,
those days,
Ja.
right now, like we did in the former when I was in there in 2018, right? We had the majority, and I put it on the table on the
Yeah.
motion, and Calvin was the one that seconded it. That we have the authority. The 7 councillors are the governing system, not the chief. Chief is only a chairman, even under the Indian Act.
Yeah.
The chief has to respect what the 7 majority council members say. This is what we want, and this is what we want you to do, and he has to act on that. But that's not the way it is. It's like the chief is the almighty.
Katariga da se muda ju murusi awadu ne.
But that's you know what? That's what happened.
Okay,
Exactly what happened.
exactly what happened. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in that meeting, he tried to stop a motion that was already seconded, and it was supposed to be put to a vote, and he right away contacted his lawyer during that meeting, and then he said, no, I'm stopping it. I told him, you have no legal right to stop a motion that was put on the table, seconded. It was your job just to say, okay,
Yeah.
let's vote.
Yeah.
I said, you had no right, and I had a legal opinion from a lawyer that said, no, he can't do that, he's only a chairman. And then when I read on the Indian Act, it says right there, that chief is only a chairman, and what the 7 majority decide is the law, basically. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I put a motion on the table for him to be taken off.
Oh yeah.
Because you can do that.
Okay.
You can take the chief off as a chairman and appoint another chairman. It can be anybody, one of the councillors or administrative. If the council says you're being unreasonable and what you're doing is illegal, you can do that. But didn't happen. That's when and back then, I just had a heart attack, and I was every time I went to these meetings, it was just I could feel it. And the doctor said, listen.
Stress, huh?
Yeah, you can't keep doing this, or you're going to have another. That's why I left in 2019. So, but that's the younger ones don't understand their roles as council members 100%, and I don't blame them because they just.
걔는
got
야,
voted
내가
in.
야 이거 집어줄티지?
It's almost.
집어줄티지 그 시간 알아로 해나?
Yeah.
낙도로 해나? 뭐 아까 못 넣으면 누구기서 뭐와 못 넣으면?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Easy out in the dark.
Yeah.
Because you have others
Yeah.
that'll,
Yeah.
they've been there for a while, and They will
Jel
intimidate.
te muji ki sai muji mogel usi
No,
gwana.
no.
Pas pem kobi.
That's right, good.
Pas sudu an adal wagel na basa.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Ang manak ka di usit ko eh.
so that has to change definitely.
There it is.
You know,
Yeah.
somewhere along the line. Well, I think what we just said, at least we're talking about it now, and I'm glad that you know I have you guys
So
here.
what done when it was kido?
Yeah, I know, but it started here
Yeah.
with this especially.
Yeah.
And there's more. This is just one. You know, the
You
land
get more,
claim is
you
just
get
one.
more ears.
Yeah, yeah. This
Yeah,
is
well-
only one issue that
Yeah.
needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, we have now till November. We'll talk. And the thing I want to stress is, you know, on my part, I'm not doing this because I want to make enemies. No,
Yeah.
that was never my goal. My
But now
goal.
dan gadul one ne but another one max. Hulde ne mun no
Yeah.
kita max no kita you know.
I'm sure another one.
Yeah.
No ma agree we wa.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And na ko below ne mi doktan you know mo ne mi duka you know.
Yeah.
Wa not ko chino get limi ya.
Yeah.
Men it's
Yeah,
you know.
that we can
Yeah.
address
Either
it.
abo almost does then
Yeah.
what you almost does then you know whatever it takes.
Wow, te
They
var.
look, I go and go on.
Yeah,
Exactly,
then we can talk about it. We can-
Sino
Yeah.
gusto mi dali yan na sila yun naman mawayari ka.
Yeah.
Public
Public,
naman
public,
pa matino na six na di
What time
gusto.
in Italy, I'm not-
Yeah.
Ah talo wa do lips ya dalik timi den maji kunjang ka kunjang kunjang do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, kunjang do ne mo.
Yeah, tell them
You know?
what the way we
Yeah,
do
no
the
spot,
house,
come
come
to
to
But that's,
Yeah.
that's the thing right there.
Yeah, look at the big picture.
Bauji, no GJ, no
Yeah.
GJ, I can't go.
Yeah.
Talbo ko do
Yeah.
na but do
Yeah.
je te.
Jackie, either way.
Yeah. Because now when you now when you look at them a different way. You're sort of concerned. What's
Yeah.
going to happen?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to them?
Yeah,
You know?
then no koi.
Where they gonna stand?
And we love them. We love them dearly.
Clearly,
Yeah,
man.
So-
exactly.
Well, there's no always a lot.
Yeah, I know. That's and when you were up. That's exactly what it
So
was.
I will give you
Part time.
the la di
Yeah.
put it down.
Yeah.
Mo ba mo sigwi?
I guess so much.
Man ni di
Yeah.
ko sa na na nel bu
Yeah.
ti ne gisu.
Because it turned another one there, I know, which
Alma.
is interested with us, you know,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
But
definitely
maybe
got-
more than my shit on the situation.
Oh yeah, well I will see no.
Well again, you know.
No, I have no
Yeah.
interest. I mean, you know, I'd like to, but these who do Jane, with the art conditions, those who make it.
Yeah.
All we can do, you know what? Our role and our responsibility is what our ancestors did for us, well, generations, every generation, you know what? Well, we have a responsibility, we have a duty.
Yeah.
To be lying.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't care what anybody says against the law.
Yeah, but-
Kailan muna,
Oh, sa mi ano?
pasak ka
Kunjan.
ganyan.
Yeah.
Ah, do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Talbo ko ti dale mo de.
Masliya ka din, eh? That's
Oh,
all.
mo de mo. Ele bora se usi de masro ko dalo mo ko bando mi na. Ko dai iba ni man no hai inen.
Yeah.
Is ko gi de men na we.
Yeah, well, this is critical, eh?
Yeah.
You know, pile of no, tayo mi no.
Kan deze, de file al die weet je. Wanneer ik aan boek nee, nu zag ik maar was nog niet daar, ik daar ik aan boek.
Ayun din, bas, and then we to make a way dyan, MTI, delivery guys.
Maar dat die keer gewoon.
It'll go,
Ja.
MTI, what you've done, that's what the board of directors. But even so, should be, look see kung gino.
Yeah.
List to zo,
Maar dat is toch zoals het die.
yeah, list to zo, yeah. Should be, look see kung because, gino kaya look na, they go up,
Ja. Maar we moesten er maar.
Ja, zie na so.
aji ka na zo, hindi dandel tega.
Ja, die heb ki za usi ko. Ja.
Oh, yeah.
Gezegd, verify hoe New Brunswick then. New Brunswick was Astro days.
Mm.
You know, dan doe je zo. The whole district, that way, we can divide and conquer, right?
No.
And that's exactly what's happening.
We go kunnen we jou zien hoor.
Yeah, and we're the capital.
Als ze niet me moet hier.
Die gaan we die gaan dan zo gieten we aan. Die met toch te plannen wanneer ga. Maar was nog de district chief, Joseph Claude, nog de zip. Ik denk Kando deel zip. Ik denk Barnaby deel zip, right? Barnaby and very much side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We just done was nice, but anyway, they went to see now they happy. There was one more, so it had a history, That was the governing body. Mo enacted in
Okay.
Down district. So anyway, I think cover on 189 was good to move.
Okay.
And the videos that the reason I put those videos
Yeah.
in so that people can see what was
Yeah.
talked about before, what was
Yeah.
agreed to, not only by us and the lawyer and not only us and Chief Scott Martin, but the lawyer, constitutional lawyer, basically saying, I mean, come on, and the work that Jack Wiseau did back in 1960s, where all that work, the legal opinion and the historical opinion, just sat there. It's been sitting there. Maybe there's a reason why it just sat there. Maybe it was waiting for the time that this generation
Yeah.
takes it
Yeah.
and uses it to its full potential, because in that legal opinion, it's about this thick, the two documents. Everything is in there that proves that we are still the title holders. We own it. We never sold it. It was never conquered by anybody, French or the British. So I urge everyone to the videos are there.
Yeah. Ila majuana.
Yeah, and pass it around amongst your families. Watch it, and understand it, and hopefully one day we can get together and make that change.
Ja, se limited no nada progress,
Exactly,
Not
exactly.
ko ichka me banasa ge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to say here, we're not leaving out anybody, and the possibility who was a councillor right now to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Ja, he's the bottom of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. The people
Let's
will
put
be
a foot
behind
on
you.
it.
The people will be behind you 100%.
Well, the church up, this good order meningen.
Yeah.
Councillor Rice.
Well, they have
Samen, ik te zeggen, moet je.
Maar dan
Ik
nega mo
dat is als heel erg dat ik.
mo nega mo mawala magi nega mo. Dige wala matchi wechka.
Ja.
Ja.
that happens too.
Ka amorti je kuji mo busy bisko amorti je gino.
Ben je ooit een moet je?
Yeah.
Ja, mo dan ikte bit ma tegi baja.
But at the same time, as one council member, an individual council member has every right to investigate,
Ja.
to find out
Ja.
what's happening, and you're entitled as
Yeah.
an elected member to do that. You can do that. So
Kan,
they too have to start doing
Ja,
that.
ik ben er op jaar over daar.
Maar dan nega mo se die mau tes ka ruti je geiska. Se nega mo no za.
Ja, moet je niet daar zo zitten.
Ja. You know.
Ik heb toch de
Ah,
klaar.
kilala binega go school di mi di ja talgis mo mi di mi di volai.
Yeah.
Aje wa meet ne na poi, you know. We the mola da. We the mukta was school mo na room it to.
Yeah.
You know.
And what
Orderly ga do.
and what you're saying is true. I've
Yeah.
seen it happen.
No,
You've
Oh
seen it
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
They get
Maybe
together.
yeah.
Only that click and
Maybe the
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Kala ni quiz we je mo ya chi mo no wa.
Yeah.
Nega ba ni la wen la lo te di ko
Yeah, but
ki wala se mo mawala mi.
Ik ben er over
Ja,
jaar.
wa mo ne ya se ur sup to met ki de mo. You know.
Yeah.
Get on the skill, wa.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that exists. That always been there.
Yeah.
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 Like I'm saying, what I'm talking about is for everybody to try to work together on it. We're not saying that we should kick everybody out. No, but if the people that the council members that are there for some reason don't support this, well, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like you said, how can you vote
Yeah.
against something that's for the best interest of your
Yeah.
your
To do it.
Yeah.
Stel je goed als ik dat zie, hè?
Ja.
Ja, gewoon daar laat ik het.
No,
Yeah.
they like to use that word.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Ja, nee, dat was gewoon, ja, maar dat moet je.
It's the same thing. Same. It's from here to there.
We je de leeuw je
Yeah.
Oh,
Ja.
maar ik scheen dan.
Exactly the same.
Best, hè?
But maybe through this, people will start to realize that you have to start using your vote in a positive way.
Ja.
That's the only thing we have every 2 years.
Yeah.
That it's up
Basta
to
mina
us.
kala se vida su tiji laga panole mina.
Yeah.
Ono vida su ti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for the ones that are being left out, I think they should start saying at the table what we've been talking
Yeah.
about. How come we can't take, let's say, some fishery money, commercial money, and file an Aboriginal title case, like we were saying, put it on the table for a vote and see who doesn't vote. See who doesn't vote on it.
Ja.
Wil je zeg voor Malian met al die ski? Koi, bar of soap? What can you do a bar of soap? Oh, parcel.
Oh, parcel.
That's a bar of soap.
So funny good.
Yeah, I wonder if you get some of that. Okay, yeah. Tip because of Pony Express. Tip because of one line. I I'll keep going up a pick together like t-shirt to the Pazukshi Raja, Nadu and Bilway again one. Okay. Nadu and Bilway again one.
Guy book.
Excited me, I get that they're all excited me.
Go away.
You bit?
Oh, give it because of us? Oh.
Oh,
Gezalisk?
risky, né? Risky.
Wat voor wie bent je?
Nog te was het?
Is he going with it?
Ja, wat dan jij je nou? Wat ze de morgen naar de alles? Ja?
We zijn te mensen zo in deze land.
Welk was tegel?
Sampas ik heb zijn haak.
Mogen ze je die was? Mogen ze dat weet je wel? Mogen veel in gezien hadden met? Ja.
Ja, al dat.
Would you have in the bowl will in a few months ago? Ja?
Kan dat wel?
Bilo en gezien hadden nog dingen dat je weet ja? Gezien hadden dat zoekt toch bilo en dingen nou deze dat maar de hoort is geweest?
Jo, jo.
Oh,
Ja, zo.
Oh ja.
dat wordt nog wel wat hier.
Oh. Ja.
Jo, die is hier niet.
Hoe doet Brazil ik doen laten?
Hoe was het nou? Oh ja, hoor.
Oh nee, je hebt gewoon te doen.
Oh je dat hoort?
Je gaat te goed.
Ja. Ja. Ik kon nog kilo dat is nog een ding is nou. Oh ja? Oh ja, hoe jij dan niet in laat? Ja. Huh? Dat moet goed, hè?
Heb je het nou dat?
2 years already to do Italian, devido, dentista.
Jezus. Alleen jullie juist ka. Dit te stap op z'n beetje.
I said that. What you want to get out every day? I wouldn't get it. It's holy Christmas, Columbus, Casalia. Are you okay?
At kilometer?
What are they with it?
Okay. Och då gick sa hon då ska du va? Okay.
Dag, Kevin.
Ja, anders pas ik eens het.
Alla di nili dentist ba wali aqab qasul di jigam sa dentist ta. Nese bay.
Are you alright?
Ja. Ja, wat bedoel je? Wat doe je? Every 6
Ja.
months, I was spelling. What am I doing?
Die moet al in. Hoe stond dat? Hoe waren het? Ja.
Maar dat hebben ze wezen,
Je zei goed, Jim. Dat is mooi teken dan.
Hey, maar dan liet je dat, hè? Wat stond dat nog?
Deze boeken was toe.
Ja? Hey, dan nog ooit die in de naam, wie hebben we nog?
Ja.
Wat doe je in Wessa?
Wauw.
Ja, was gewoon.
Ah, de hele, hè?
Ja, ja, dat was toen.
Ah, past ook, ja, maar New York, New Jersey en met de...
Nor'easter.
Past het?
Maar de bal, de bal.
Ja.
Ja?
Ik ben die ziek was.
Ja,
Ja.
Zal dat ook niet
Dat
doen?
oh, dat zo dus.
Bassen, we zijn
Hey,
weer
Ontario, went for 50 centimeters.
Zwarte bos gaan door die bret was.
Ja, ja.
Ja.
Oh ja? Ja?
Ja.
Huh? Dat be weatherman, hè, Kiela? Oh ja?
Ja, dat is ook nice, hè. En dat zagen we nog eens, hè.
Weatherman?
En Marian, Marian. Hier naar Gary met hij, guys. Ik doe weer wat niet mulai. Nee, mi maar zit de goed quiz, nasta si del wisi dai. Yes, kas. Ja.
Ja.
Oh, ja. Zoals ik ten via video de wie, ja, dan we go maar met video, we go maar met nee, die nasta si.
Jo, hè?
En hoeft er niet bij doen.
Ja, behoort het nog daar, wat je dat?
Behoud ik.
Ja?
Oh, en ook bordjaps te maar doen nadoen. Oh, ja. Ja.
Ah, moet nou doen, dat is zomaar doen, dat doen, hè? Oh ja?
Zit er zo man op?
Ja.
Ja, dat gaat dan niet, hè? Ze doen nooit dat op kan.
Ja. Ja.
Dat doe? Kijk je ze niet? Dat ben je.
Hallo.
Ja, nog hè?
Oh ja.
Kon quizzen?
Had dat wagens?
Oh ja. Ja.
Ja, goed, dat hebben we net gemaakt.
Ja. Ik kon daar niet meer weg, dan loop je me nee en alles hier weer terug dan in. Dan doe ik toch dat, loop een pet. Pet, alleen nu weer mijn pet, zei je. Pet, ik kon je moet je zeggen, wel. Hey, moet je list toch eens gaan, ik kon daar niet meer gaan. Kook je daar, als een pet. Alleen nu weer mijn pet. Pet. P-E-T. Alleen nu weer mijn. Niet dat weg. En mix jou wat? Huh? Food?
Oh, no,
Die
hè.
liep zo,
Oh,
hè?
we give you again.
Liep zo, hè.
Uh-huh. Ja. Oh ja. Oh ja. Portchapsel. Oh ja, dan hadden we daar.
Nyt sä sanovat pelivaari opam setteloi.
That's the video. That's the video, no?
Se on eduskin ollut, mistä mun.
Oh yeah? Huh?
Makkakin mulle pitää.
Mistä mun
I don't know the difference. What is it? Maazak? Was je?
Atau tu dah lepas saya. Asli mun emi tu mun emi aku kuis bo. Dah tu dah mukti.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Hello, I just was 22, you know? Oh yeah, that's right. Dem kwazul da. Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
Dem zitten terecht. Ik speciaal ook.
Oh yeah.
Hier moet allemaal bij die age. Bilbroek zo.
Will Brooks.
Ja.
Bilbrooks.
Het is goeie
Will Brooks zit er wel.
No, hoestje.
Oh.
Dat je nog even aan die hè?
Ze hebben het goed aan, denk je? Oh yeah.
Oké, wat niet.
En nu ga je de arena gila? Huh?
Wat niet.
Ja. Aja. Ja, bukan dah kan. Boleh ni ya kau dia ke apa? Masa ja. Sigu wadi ya nuku. Ja, omset ja. Sudah mana lagi sigu eh? Ja.
Ik zie de wassen. Iets te zo mee.
Wat kun je zo heden? Een beetje wip achter moeten worden.
Wacht op.
Dat is weer, ga er ja, ja. Ja. Maar doe je dan moet je mak om steeds ja. Well, pretty much your pet, right? Kalau macam ni, kita buksit dulu ke? Miau cak. Kita buksit.
Kopi?
Aja, ulan ni dah pergi sih kapten deh, guys ya. Beli lu mana mau beli garage store mah. Telu apa? Kuna benai. Exchange student, wajen itu China. Nah, kisun dan wane, pipani mah ben. Getli mi aja. Wajen China, mak umah China dah miau cik. Telu what? You're right. Jadi unji ni zaro ak telu what dia. Telu what miau cik. Wika buksit juga. You know, mak umah juga. Mana mes? Wala mo siya. Wajen soal apa satu kah? Quick question.
Wat heb je gesproken?
Ja. Lagi so ini dah je, kalau ini kan abalamu. Abaliga mo jangoy na? Oh, wabos kan dia tahu is wabos talu ini kan? Okay.
But he was on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ja.
Huh?
Ja. Maar nou, hij is best bewabbels aan, maar nou, hij is, maar nou, hij is, had je gewoon.
Oh,
Vlak.
But in Darling on top of devil. It's a hard to see.
Swatch.
City or
Hoe
the
vaak?
meeting. Ja.
Try me al je kan niet, nee, ja. Was ook te bier krijgen.
Jantje?
Was you know, just to see, dan de limit.
Yeah.
I want to je ja, is
Dat is
Zo.
niet wat.
Als je hoort,
Maar moet je gaan.
Dat is niet wat.
Chinese food.
Ja. Ja, wat was aan wat komt we zijn aan zo la? We zijn er baby.
Dat is wel een eier.
Beste man, dat was wel nog goed, dus.
Ja, weet ik toch wel bij die.
Ja, heb ik zien, hè?
Oh ja? Wauw.
Is best
Toen weet de soep na.
Tapi ya kami ja wala China dan bas koy mak kudumi ja le lok tok tezi je.
Moet je ook die?
No. Suma wrestler akan.
beste met die zo.
Suma wrestler del kill.
Wat stel dat aan ons te gaan, hallo hè?
Heb je hem voor
Das kamu wat?
je?
Ja.
Is er ook zo meer of zo wat padelen? Die gaan zijn is voor de staat er ook.
Ja.
Ja. Last week, last Thursday Chinese food hè, maar ja.
Ja.
Ja, die dag gaat er Ja, ja, dit is hij, hè?
Wat tel babala kanten del we zeggen ja, model we gaan boeken.
Maar kleine kosten.
Was toch wel best hè, Chinese food.
Ja. Oh, je de moeite staat hè? Oh ja. Hij je video hè? Video hij je iets ga YouTube. Ja. Na dalado na wis gaat.
Zo'n jagger niet toch?
Okay.
Ah, nog toch?
First one, I'll be done. This time, second time, this time, did he scored where panic too? Ik maar naar Maho. Ja, hoe was hij daar dan? Nee, dat was hij daar dan. Dus did he scored of panic too? Kijk, hier is
Oh.
hij wil niet ja.
Ah, nog toch?
We gaan boek la doen hè?
Ja. Of samen dit, wie ben nou, nee, ik.
Ja. Oh ja. Want je schrijft toen al maar bala iets New Brunswick side hè. We gaan wel wild toch. Was een mooi iets genoeg.
We go in the one day, stop $27 Monday, eh? What be a school?
Holy Christ. We gaan dik.
But you say illegal, and you get $11.99, so $12, $12.
Hey, grocery store dat kilo nu hè?
Eh?
Oh ja.
Oh ja?
Zie je dat eens?
Oh ja.
And that's the grocery store meeting now.
Dag Tim Hortons
Grocery
hè?
store in there.
No way.
Ja.
Ja.
Oosterhavens.
Ja.
Hey, sit there.
Ja, nou 50 days ago. 50 days ago, let dop net wist kan doen.
Came in.
Oh ja.
Oh, came in, no? There's a liquor store.
Ho.
There's Tim Hortons.
Je hebt Tim Hortons? Oh.
Weet je, doe een liquor store. Die wordt net niet eens.
Zo twee kan mee zijn?
Ja.
Nou ja.
En hoe ga je
Ja.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nou, moet je
That's why the man.
Oh, weet je?
Weet je hoe, hè?
Ja?
Geen
They know all of these city guys.
Oh ja.
I'm just coming to know and it was away.
Ja, basic hè. Zo waren we nog niet.
Ja, told you guys, weet je, je know what's going on, maar nou weet je, hoe je is gezond.
Ah, ken ik wel.
Ah, kan je hè?
Ken ik wel in Sydney.
Wanneer ben je in
Ja,
job?
maar zo. Kim Jong-un niet meer. Weet jij
Hij
meer?
die guy moet die is.
Ah, ik wil niet gaan misschien weer.
Nu, hij die weet wat hij nu zit maar.
Ja, dat zal ja. Slecht hè? Wat moet Louis hier nog tegen naast dat hier? Alles hier toch? Corrie.
Nancy,
Dat is niet Nancy.
Nee, zit dat maar?
Ja.
Aha. Tal. Sandwich.
Sandales.
Sandwich.
Andrew.
Handley,
Andales. Is het Andales? Sandy?
Andrew.
Sandales. Hoe heet het, Libby?
Sandra. Teresa.
Oh, Trista.
Holy shit.
Dan daar heb deze skulde mij daar deze Trista. Op wat radio station, hè? Facebook live naast het. Oh, you want? Oh, wat hoor je het begin audio in dit? Hondi?
Ja, daar is het.
Alright, Tom, wat al je?
Ja, wel aan je.
Rani, ik heb het dus net.
Ja,
Ja.
thank you.
Kiss you later.
Nee, maar hij ziet het.
Hallo.
Dat ook.
Alright.
Ja, daar is het.
Look at entertainment.
Oh,
Ja,
dat is het.
daar is hij al even.
Ja.
Dat is een baggage geloof is.
Moet hij nog eens vandaag tegengaan? Zie je dat voor de mogen maken?
No,
Zo houden we.
die was hier niet goed.
Ja, die was wat lopen.
Ja,
Die was gewoon de roep in de ja.
Skillen zien we hoor, dat ben after.
Overlopen, maar op zijn moeder,
Ja.
waar de moeder.
Ja.
Moet niet naar de overlopen, dat was close in.
Ja.
Ja. Ja. Toen we dat ben
Dat
after.
is nee, maar nou, dat is ik.
Die gaat nog sterk in de park. Ja, dat is wat ik kan doen.
Ja, wel, hij is daar, hij is.
I was good to the
Ah,
next
maar
week
dat
up.
is de mok. Als je
Ja.
je zou ook gewoon nog wel naar, als je dit maar nooit zien.
Yeah, I know.
Ze ben nog mooi zie die we.
Wel, hij is daar, hè, maar is after that. Hoe dat je
Dat is hoe hij best wie which hoe hij labo wana. Dat is een moment goed hier.
Wel, zijn die hij is was, dus kach laat ik hem ook. En hij boer die zijn, maar wie daar is.
Ja.
Oh, ja.
Maar je gaat hem.
Yeah,
Leg hem ook. Het is nu de medisch, dat is the
Ja.
more important thing.
yeah.
Hij is daar.
Geen doe die Alexa, ben je dit?
Ja. Ja, maar we zien het door, je gaan heel
Ja.
mooi.
Ja.
Hoe daar is die eens, hè? Dat boer.
Ja.
Ja.
Zo, we skachten nog anyway, dat geht na.
Ja.
Like you
Ja,
said,
I don't
Nee, gewoon als we emotie dat is.
exactly, that ain't go.
Yeah.
Because she was up, blame all like she was up, no? Because like you said, after the little Louisiana, they allow.
Yeah.
You know, we don't do it up days, man.
De wana.
Unfortunate that Lala didn't, but I understand my Lala we in here because what's good to move, huh?
Yeah.
After what's good to move, huh? What's wrong with
Hou
a
hem even
lot
gehouden.
of a lot of guys what's good to move?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dat is wie gehouden. Nou is weet je.
Ja.
yeah.
Zit dan hier. Kan hoe laat je gaat op nog de Scotty River Walk. Dan gaan we op, hoe heet die guys? Dan gaan we mee, we gaan we Samawi. Ah, mogen do counselor hoe die counselor way. Kido Samawi, independent. Exactly, that was good. Without the crown.
Without the Canada. Without the crown.
Ja.
Was dat, de one we have the dichtste die staan eigenlijk.
Maar, zit dat mee?
Wat dan spijt je hè?
Walk in en hij niet, weet je. Daar was goed omhoog.
Ja.
Hoe zie je dat, weet je, gaat lekker man.
Wat spreek je? Wat scoorde met hem?
Ja, like I said, maar aan moet wat nog.
Ja.
Ja.
Heb je meer kunnen, ze mochten als ik het heel aan, maar ik had dat nog niet helemaal niet brand,
Ja.
Maar je zou toch wel
Je ziet het, ik wil wel dat.
Ja.
Als je een beetje gaan hoort die dame, denk ik.
Was je wat die meer zoekt dat je doen?
Was je een man geworden met?
Sorry,
Sorry, Got yet again.
Wil je nog net even wat zeggen?
Top kick, so yeah, he's millions
Yeah.
and millions. So zet hem aan, priority, zet hem aan hoe die lijkt.
Ik weet dat staat helemaal wanneer was het zo hier, weet je, election was
Oh
gewoon.
ja, oh dan maar.
After I cut to the skill line, like question in behind.
Ja, als je dat niet,
Ja.
als je dat maar zo naartoe ziet, dan hoor je.
Ja. Je moet lonen sport daar, je daar blij.
Ook hier, nee, hij is er. Ook niet hij, van de mensen gaan nog zoals je.
Oh, moet je?
We zien het, dat is ik zeg, you know.
Ja.
Samen scoren we nou, he's 40 years, daar ik een nog zoals je uitschat. Nee, die gaan meedoen niet, dit dag. We zien het, 4 oudjes gaan. Maar dan nou, ik ga, ja, wat scoort dat ze gaan, ze doen ook right, hè.
Ik wil een rating gegaan, it's over 40 years.
Ja.
Rating one there,
41.
44 years, 45 years.
Ja. Nee, gewoon in respect to actie, hè, maar dan moet je zeggen.
Ja.
Ja,
niet zo, dat is een je ben je dat we maar raai.
Nou, was je aan de gezicht kunnen je ook
Ik heb je al ook ik heb die man doet die voor raai.
Ja, ik heb een time al.
de school aan de school met als we man dan zeggen dat was alles ik heb een nolle met de woordje.
Ja, boord.
Als dit kan je maar weer naar die hoe eentje hè.
Let's like.
Ik bedoel ja dat is ook weer maar die daar je naar raai.
Ja. Ja, dat doe je erbij, hè? De eerste doen, hè? Nee, dat doe je, hè? Nee, dat doe je nog zien, maar dat kan je nog eens zo aan. Ja, that yeah, because even before 81, he got this come up, you know, our generation. Als ze zeggen, goed je nou, hè? Maar goed zo aan je gaan, zeg, je moest er helemaal niet, voilà.
Ja.
25 feet.
Ja, we kunnen doen, hè.
Laten we gaan, laten we dat. We zoeken maar weer te met hem, maar we goed doen, hè?
Wat raai is
Ja, geen woorden nog, maar we hebben daar je
Laat me zeggen gelauw. Ja, die moet je stem. Maar Mark zo hoog.
Ja. Zo, dat we daar doen, hè? Dat we daar doen, hè? En dat imagine we know, they were the.
Maar zo is het wanneer je ziet helemaal dan weet je nog niet wil je er hoe hard nog.
Dat was er maar nog een gebied door bij ze was het dat wel in middeleeuwen.
Ja. Ja. It was our time, dan mocht je riding it over to you. Maar dacht maar ook.
51 comments last
year.
51 comments.
Ja, well that's right. It was nice, but it was now
Usually they'll go to now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's over now.
Like you said, the dynamic genoalize, the idea for go back on pushback.
Ja.
Dat is waar doen. Laat eens 93 hè?
Ja.
Dat is waar doen.
Op de nachterbaan op dan hoor.
Ja.
Hallo, hij moet je nemen, wat je toe.
Wat stil de weer zo mooi.
Ja, weet je hoe het is? Ik kan net weer iets. Die was je wel een tijd. After
Die gaat je zo weer
Ja.
Wat is dat, hè, Mort? Oh.
MLTP doe je.
Ja. Zo achterbal hoor. Hele dag.
Later, hè. Gedaan.
En daar ik al.
Heb ze gegaan zeggen.
Ja.
Oh,
Oh, nee. Alright, boys, dat heb je al niet, hè?
ja.
Next week, ik moet je eens door.
Ja, op dag dat gooi middel je hebt
Oh ja, dat mag. Ja.
Maar schade je nou eens wel?
Dat was het. Dan word ik aan zo komen.
Is een best zo, dat gooi.
Ja.
Was goed maar weer.
Liever than the Scotty River Walker to call us. Next, not now, but
Middeleeuwen.
next week, ja.
Zoals jij wil.
Ja, die maar.
Zo is het daar, hè?
Zo doe maar jij.
Hele bootje. Okay. Ja,
Wat was je gedacht hier was hier?
ik kom niet, hè? Dat ligt door, ik heb een beetje te weten. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Wanneer ik zie toe, boy?
Wanneer ik zit voor, wat Nola?
Arnold.
Oh, Arnold.
Ja, weer.
Yes, Gernal.
Oh ja.
Dit is het fiddle, dan moet je achter.
Hoi, dan wil je opladen hoe ze hem liggen?
Oh, maar daar, wat ze daar bij Gary, alles hier wie zit daar. Olai, wat je weet, schrijven te midden, wil je niet doen.
Aha.
Dan moet je wat je gaan.
Ja.
Nou, wat ze daar bij, en dat kon je dan weer bij heel dag tegen me op.
Aha.
Maar boxje nog daar met Jean en Billy zit daar. Scotty River Walker.
Oh ja,
Ja.
als ze maar iets weten.
Maar dit kan maar niks ziek worden. Waarom zitten we dat ook? Dat ik kan Gary, wij was de alle hier te ver. Het is een waarde wat je geleeg.
Wat
Als
zo
je
is.
niet wat je weet, kan hij.
Ja.
Dat is de ding dat we gaan. Weet je wel, wat dacht je mag zien en denk je, waarom zitten we net ook?
Ja.
Ja.
Wat ik, zullen we niks kan bij windswing gitaar, we worden op een wijzingen. En de kop, waarom zitten we net ook?
Ja, hoe ze dat zijn.
Maar kijk ook nog dat aan Jean en Scotty met de wakker. Die maar dat je voor dag in moet je hebben, doe maar dat niet.
Ja.
There you go.
Ja, ja, ja.
There.
Ach, daar kunnen we aan wat, hè?
Ja.
Ach, wat nog op die op China nog?
Oké.
Wanneer, Gernal?
Kijk, wat nog op die hooi, en alles hier moet daar, wat is maar lijn.
Ja.
Dan moet je weet, je doet iets te de media, hè?
Ja.
Ja, je deli halen.
Ja, tel we.
Ja, ja. Nou, wat laten we op dan?
Ja.
Ja. Wat ze door gemoeden, hij. Voordat daar die wat niet, ja, niet te pijaar, ja.
Moet alleen nog?
Oh, maar nee, anyway.
Ja. Ja.
Alright.
Thanks for the call.
Ja.
Wanneer,
Gernal? Oh yeah, for sure, anytime.
Ja, next week up. Montes?
Ja, je moet ook zo.
Alright.
Ja, een zal jeetje kooi, hè?
Ja.
Hobbels.
Hobbelsen.
Hobbels, hè?
Hoe dan? Gaat er maar eens in? Dan een week of zo?
We zijn nu nog in huis. Dat was Scotty River.
Cut to this in later on.
Yeah. But anyway, that's expected when you do but the main thing is, sitting here in the law was goed, hè? Geen op daar, ja, en dat stuk daar was goed.
Ja, ja, exactly.
Ja.
Ja. Ja.
Ja, nou, ik ben je moest dat ook daar was voor mogen. Dat is het site even hoe die.
Ja, ja.
Oh, dan mag ik even toe daar, hoe dat ze geboren hebben.
En maar je was gewoon goed bieden, nou, dat is wie gaat.
Ja.
Ja,
Ja.
nou,
Nou,
je
nou.
doet het ijzer.
Appel, ja, zo dik.
Ik weet het, ik doe het, zijn er ook bij, BCE moet je.
Ja.
Die ben ik eens in de dag, moet dat je gaan naar.
Ja.
Ik wil meer mooi, dat mag ik gaan lezen.
Ja.
Ja, zeg nooit.
One in an hour, it is ja. Tiger wall up in the guy.
Ja, ja.
Oh. Me doing? That's good.
Ja.
As he says, als ik check it.
Oh, yes. Zou dat ik tonen?
Ja.
Well,
Allebei.
Zeg eens, mocht je een moek.
He's here, but you might be like, well.
Oh
Je
ja.
bent weer doen, maar important to
Ja.
you know. So we noemen Jenny daar,
Ja.
you know. We say, ik zal ook geen Jenny daar.
Wat zo is het, is dat?
Ja. Je doet de matje is in Alexa, laboratoria wat je gaat leiden. Welke hè? Deze is
Dan man.
Nou, zet die maar weer daar, je gaat houden naar mij. And that's gonna happen.
Ja. Goede meisjes, dat die ja. Nou,
Nou, we schoenen ook dit, ja.
kan wel. Moet je nou oudje op niks maar.
Ja.
Weet je hoe dat moet je nou maar?
Ja, maar je gaat er maar eens op tegen hem.
Ja.
Wat daar je weer.
Ja.
You do. Anyway. Je wil ja, gaat dat is dat toon ik hem.
Ja.
Ja, maar wat moet ik zien, anyway.
Ja.
Nog pas ik zie je nog wel lekker, dus
Ja,
Oh, ja.
dan moet ik als ik laat, weet je.
Ja,
dat is
En dan moet je weten.
ja. Maar die is ook nog een video, dat moet je zien.
Ja.
Misschien nou, weet je. Social media.
Oh,
Kan man.
Ja.
Job heel gewoon, hè? Wist wat dat echt.
Ja, wat is ik is terug.
TikTok heel goed.
Je moet eens die radio station.
Wat Joyce, ga je zien?
Het is wel
Oh,
helemaal
ja,
mooi.
school dat je.
Maar laat je eens doen, ik zo halen.
Ja.
Ja.
Maar geen last van die
Ja.
Misschien kunnen we nou daar, dit doen we daar, die weet. Voor de weet. Je hebt hem allemaal gewoon.
Ja.
Die daar zoekt je dan, maar die nog niet.
dat nou wat
Moet je doen? Hoe is het nou?
En de widow was Peters.
En
Dat was zoals je al.
hoe is het dan?
Speed, hè?
Die zijn nog aan het doen.
Ja.
right, top boys.
Ja.
En dan gaan we lopen.
Alright, dan moet je-
Ja, samen next week. Check it out. Check it out.
Nou, die heeft een oude lek hier.
Nou, die, hè.
Die zag wat dus worden.
Ah, dat gaat.
Ja, gaat.
Hij daar heen gaan.
Ah, doe maar daar, hè.
Alright, give me your ear blade. Facebook Live.
Dus gaan we in de mak.
Weet je
Fine,
tegen
finance.
Tegen de mic.
Tegen de mic?
Ja, dat weet je toch?
Oh, dus gaan we in de handen over hier.
Ja. Moet die zo?
Ik zie de poens zo smelen, hè. Ik kon je wel eens schieten.
Ja.
Want daar heb ik thuis van de staan, man.
Oh ja.
Ja, want daar.
Ja, want daar hebben we ze weer.
Hij doet het gewoon daar.
Ja, dat is weer nou, daar doen we dat bij. Maar tel toe waar het is, daar hebben we het al weer. Hier doen we dat weer. Dit is daar.
Alright.